Prayacha.
Prayacha.
Please give.
Please give.
Tani.
Tani.
Them.
Them.
Naha.
Naha.
To us.
To us.
Krishna.
Krishna.
O Krishna.
O Krishna.
Gandha.
Gandha.
By the fragrance.
By the fragrance.
Lobhita.
Lobhita.
Made greedy.
Made greed.
Chetasam.
Chetasam.
Whose minds.
Whose minds.
Vancha.
Vancha.
The desire.
The desire.
Asti.
Asti.
Is. Mahati.
Mahati.
Great.
Great.
Rama.
Rama.
O Rama.
O Rama.
Gamyatam.
Gamyatam.
Let us go.
Let us go.
Yadi.
Yadi.
If.
Okay, I'll read the translation now.
Rochate. It appears like a good idea.
Like a good idea. Translation. O Krishna, please get those fruits for us. Our minds are so attracted by their aroma. Dear Balaram, our desire to have those fruits is very great. If you think it's a good idea, let's go to that Tala forest. Purport. Although neither man nor bird nor beast could even approach the Tala forest, the cowherd boys had so much faith in Lord Krishna and Lord Balarama that they took it for granted the two lords could effortlessly kill the sinful ass demons and acquire the delicious Tala fruits. Lord Krishna's cowherd boyfriends are exalted, self-realized souls who would not ordinarily become greedy for sweet fruits. In fact, they are simply joking with the Lord and enthusing his pastimes, urging him to perform unprecedented heroic feats in the Tala forest. Innumerable demons disturb the sublime atmosphere of Vrindavan during Lord Krishna's presence there, and the Lord would kill such demons as a popular daily event. Since Lord Krishna had already killed many demons on this particular day, he decided to give first honors to Lord Balaram, who would demolish the first demon, Dhinuka. By the words Yadi Rochate, the cowherd boys indicate that Lord Krishna and Balaram need not kill the demons simply to satisfy them. Rather, they should do so only if the lords themselves found the concept appealing. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurinmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namashrishtam Manamapi Shachiputram Atasrupam Rupam Tasyagrajam Huruparing Matarim Goshtavarti Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasha Prabhto Yasya Pratita Kripaya Shri Gurum Tam Natosmi Shri Guru Paramananda Premananda Palaprata Vrajananda Pradhananda Sevayang Maneo Jaya He Guru Gyanada Dinabandho Svananda Data Kurnaika Sindho Vrindavana Sina Hitavatara Prasida Radha Pranaya Prachara Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Ataf Paragamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagarna Raghunatham Vitam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagarna Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitam Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan Tina Svarone Hari Vigna Vinashvan Anaya Shri Hoy Nijavanchita Puran Madgavir Api Gopala Svakuryat Kripaya Yadi Tadaiva Sampaya Pitva Krishyeshu Tatpriya Jana Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare we're hearing about the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan with his cowherding boyfriends, who are, of course, all great pure devotees of Krishna. No one can enter Vrindavan without being a pure devotee of Krishna. Is that right? Everyone's saying yes. Well, we're reading about the demons in Vrindavan. How could they enter? That's a big question, isn't it? Do they enter or don't they? Yeah, they do. And Krishna kills them. But they don't enter Vrindavan in the sense that they enter the spirit of Vrindavan. There's a big discussion. Maybe I'll leave that for another day. It's very fine topics of Tattva Gyan, Raja Tattva Gyan. Hearing about these pastimes is pleasing, no doubt. I hope you're all happy to hear these pastimes. And it's supposed to awaken in us a desire to serve Krishna as the pure devotees of Vrindavan do. They serve in different ways. Every individual serves differently, but there are some general classes, among whom the cowherd boys are one major class of servant. The basic activity or the basic attitude of all pure devotees is that they simply want to serve Krishna. Krishnarte akila cheshta. They do everything for the pleasure of Krishna. They don't memorize the verse and then think, oh yes, I should do that. But it just comes naturally to them. They serve Krishna in the way that a mother serves the child. They don't think, why am I doing this? They automatically do it. And even if you ask them, they might not be able to give a philosophical or biological reply. Just they do it. They can't imagine doing anything else. So we aspire for that pure devotion. It may be as a gopi, cowherd girl, or a gopa, or a god in the palace in Dwaraka. It may be a blade of grass in Vrindavan. They also have service to do. But whatever, wherever we may serve Krishna, the basic idea is to act for the pleasure of Krishna. And the cowherd boys, it might seem that they are acting out of their own desire. They're asking Krishna, can you do something for us? We want to get those fruits. We're inspired by the smell of those fruits. Gandha, lobhita chetasam. They are inspired by the smell of the fruits, thinking that Krishna should enjoy that. When we see a beautiful flower, we can think, oh, I can enjoy that. Or we can think, let me offer that to Krishna. Krishna, that should be offered to Krishna. But they thought if they said to Krishna, you should enjoy these fruits, then Krishna, he wouldn't be so inspired as if the cowherd boys say that we want to enjoy them. And then they'll have some more pastimes and then Krishna will enjoy the fruit. And not. The cowherd boys also. So we aspire for that. We aspire to go to Vrindavan. We can go. It's not simply something that happened 5,000 years ago. but it's something that we can do. We can be pure devotees. We should be pure devotees. We have to develop the same consciousness and attitude of the cowherd boys, all the pure devotees of Krishna. The essence is Savior Sevaka Bhava. Krishna is to be served, and we are his servants. This is the attitude of pure devotion. Krishnarte akila cheshta. Everything should be done for Krishna. All our endeavors should be for Krishna. So that's Atmanivedana. These are other ways of saying it. Completely offering our whole self to Krishna. Of course, we belong to Krishna anyway, but we have the choice whether to offer ourselves in his service or not. It might seem a very long way to Vrindavan, to enter into the spiritual world, to have that consciousness where we're allowed to enter the spiritual world. But we can start here. It shouldn't be. Why should it be so daunting a prospect that we can be a pure devotee of Krishna? We are, by constitution, pure devotees of Krishna. But we're so accustomed to not practicing devotion to Krishna that it seems as if it's natural for us to be a sense enjoyer of this material world. So it seems like a very difficult job. How am I going to purify my consciousness? Go back to Godhead? How am I going to be eligible to enter the spiritual world? Of course, there are some devotees, or something like devotees, who take it very cheaply. And they think that, well, yeah, we can go to the spiritual world. It's just an easy thing. And they don't take the practice of Krishna consciousness very seriously. They think just by getting a blessing from my guru, or Krishna's very merciful and whatever. They're cheap devotees, sahajiyas. They think it's very easy. But actually bhakti should be easy because it's the natural function of the soul to love Krishna. We find it difficult to convince people to take to Krishna consciousness. Why should it be difficult? If it is for their own benefit in the highest degree, compared with which there is nothing in this world even slightly close to it. And it's a very joyful process. Why should it be hard to convince people to take to Krishna consciousness? And we ourselves, why do we find it difficult to practice? In many ways, it may seem difficult. We struggle with our own minds. We struggle with others. It may be that we struggle with others who don't want us to practice Krishna consciousness. There are many devotees who are living in their family house, and other members of the family don't want them to be Krishna conscious. And they have to struggle with that, the added disadvantage. Srila Prabhupada said that taking to devotional service is like declaring war against Maya. So on one side, it's very easy. Chant Hare Krishna. It's very easy. It's very natural. It's very joyful. But on the other side, we struggle with our own minds. And 6 enemies. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Lust, greed, anger, illusion, pride, envy. We struggle with these, and it may seem that we're not making progress. It may seem, after what seems to us like a long time. Of course, remember that whatever we think is a long time is only a blip in eternity. Our whole life is, if Lord Brahma sneezes, we could have been born and died 20 times in the human lifespan in Kali Yuga, in the time he sneezes. And Lord Brahma's whole life is just a time it takes for Lord Vishnu to breathe out and breathe in. But it seems to us like a long time. We have bad desires in our hearts, and it seems we can't break our old habits. We want to bring people to Krishna consciousness, but the rules seem to be a big obstacle for many. Many people may be attracted to Krishna consciousness, but when we say that if you want to really get the result, you have to follow these rules, and that turns people off. And outside of India, the whole culture that Srila Prabhupada gave us seems foreign, although it is the natural culture of the soul. And increasingly within India also. It's a great act of surrender to wear a dhoti for many aspiring devotees, or tilak, because they're afraid of public censure. Although previously in this land, if someone didn't have any tilak, that would be censurable. So some devotees have proposed that we should make it easy for everyone to take to Krishna consciousness by not having what they call this cultural baggage. We can just ask people to chant Hare Krishna and take some vegetarian food. And if they remember, they can blabber a little mantra or two and call it prasadam. So don't bother with all this Indian stuff. Actually, if you take the Indian stuff out, not really anything left, is there? But this Vaishnav dress, Indian style food, make it easy for them by not emphasizing the rules, because they'll get turned off. And Srila Prabhupada also said something like that for preaching in the Western countries. One of the secrets of his success was his formula, in like a needle, out like a plow. He would quote, Yena tena prakarena manah krishne niveshayat niveshayet sarva vidhi nishedasya etayoreva kinkaraha. Somehow or other bring people to Krishna consciousness, and later on you can introduce the rules and regulations. Some devotees have proposed that to make it easy, we should not emphasize the rules and don't give too much philosophy, just give what people like, the appealing parts. Give them nice prasadam and have chanting Hare Krishna, maybe with Western style music, and don't emphasize the parts that may turn them off. That could be okay in the beginning, but if we're actually to advance in Krishna consciousness, then we're going to have to accept the practice of Krishna consciousness the way that Krishna wants us to do. See, we're talking about the cowherd boys. And they have internalized acting in a way that Krishna wants us to do. We can be a devotee by chanting Hare Krishna and performing various acts of devotion, but our various acts of devotion are all on the foundation of what's in it for me. There's a pragmatic aphorism in English. Put number one first. Number one means yourself. And we also say that. The only difference is that we know that Krishna is number one, not ourselves. So we also say, put number one first. And the materialists will also say, put number one first. But who is that number one? And that we should understand. Put Krishna, what he wants. Otherwise, put that first. Otherwise, we can go on chanting and doing so many things. But we won't really make progress because we're anchored. We may be doing the acts of devotion, but we're stuck in the consciousness of thinking, if I do this, Krishna will give me that. Business-like devotion, not really devotion. Like rowing the boat, but not untying the boat from the key. Key here spelled, or jetty, or whatever. You wonder what I'm talking. They'll think I'm talking about key, K-E-Y, but it's key spelled Q-U-A-Y. It's a post on the edge of the river which you tie the boat to. So if the boat is still tied, you can go on rowing, but you won't get anywhere. Shrama eva hi kevalam. Not exactly acts of devotion, they're always beneficial, but we won't be able to go back to Godhead if we're maintaining the attitude of what's in it for me. We have to do what Krishna wants. What does that mean? We have to give tal fruits. We're discussing about the boys wanting the tal fruits. It's a bit surprising to me how they're saying about tal fruits, because they're not the most tasty, it seems. Of course, in Vrindavan, they must be very tasty, and now in Kali Yuga, nothing has any taste much anyway. But there are so many other fruits, and I won't speak about them. Everyone's fasting this morning. Don't start you salivating. But the boys, they want to offer that to Krishna. So we should offer everything to Krishna. The boys do that naturally, the cowherd boys. We don't do it naturally. Therefore, we have to be trained. We have to follow rules and regulations. And even if we do make an offering, that should be done in the proper system. Patram pushpam palam toyam. What's the last word of that verse? Prayatat nanaha. Means it should be done in the proper way. We should do it in the proper way. So there are rules and regulations. If we say, yes, we'll do what Krishna wants, okay, let's have a Rasa Leela. We'll put the deity of Krishna in the middle and we'll all dress up as gopis and we'll dance around. But that's not what Krishna wants for us. For us, we have to follow the rules and regulations so that we can come to the level of being able to dance with Krishna. First of all, we have to internalize the attitude, the consciousness of dancing for Krishna. And then when Krishna is pleased with that, when Bhakti Devi is pleased with that, we'll have the opportunity to dance directly with Krishna. As a cowherd boy, they also dance with Krishna. The elderly gopis also clap their hands and have Krishna dancing. And there may be others also who dance, the professional dancers in the house of Nanda Maharaj. Every evening they have a little performance. And there may be others who are not dancing with Krishna because there are so many services to do. So different pure devotees in the spiritual world have different services to do. But to get there, we have to follow the rules and regulations. Rupa Goswami gave them, and all the acharyas have given them. The rules and regulations give us a program whereby we purify our consciousness by coming in contact with Krishna, by regularly hearing and chanting about him and serving him and his devotees, and they restrict us from activities that impede our advancement. So, no meat, no fish, no eggs, no gambling. There's so many no's. Don't do this. That's to help us. Even following the rules, we may struggle with our minds. I hope you're all struggling with your minds. Really? Well, otherwise you're already there. If you're not there, then we should struggle with our minds. Because if we don't struggle with our minds, if we surrender to our minds, then we're not in Krishna consciousness. So if you're struggling with your mind to be in Krishna consciousness, that's good. Because if we don't struggle with our minds, we're not even on the boat tied to the shore. We're just carried away by the waves of Maya, that's all. So struggle on. It will be a struggle. However, there is one mental adjustment, a little trick, whereby bhakti becomes easy. And once we make this adjustment in our mind, then further progress comes naturally. What's this? Is this something not stated in the books? Is some special thing? We're always looking for some special thing. So many times devotees come and ask me, well, how can I be a pure devotee? And well, you follow everything. It's already there. The process is given. So what is this trick I'm talking about? You have to go to Vrindavan and roll in the dust and go to Radha Kund, sit there chanting, thinking about women and money. Whoops. It may happen. We may think I'll throw myself into pure devotion. But if we're not ready, we can't go by force. Kramapat, it's a gradual path. So I'm not going to propose any wonderful speculative idea that I've dreamed up. I'm going to tell you the mental trick whereby bhakti becomes very easy, comes naturally. It's fully in line with the descriptions of devotional service given by our acharyas. And what is that trick? We have to internalize a particular attitude and then progress becomes natural. What is the attitude? Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana kama dhyanavritam anukulyena krishna nushilanam bhaktir uttama. It's a well-known formula. That we should give up extraneous ideas, extraneous desires, either material or spiritual, and simply cultivate devotional service to Krishna favorably. If we simply make this our life's goal, that whatever I should do, whatever I do, it should be according to this formula. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam. I should only do what is favorable for cultivation of devotional service, and I should spurn, reject everything which is unfavorable, and make it very clear that the goal of my life, I have nothing else to do but to practice pure devotion to Krishna. And understand that there is a process and I have to apply myself to that. And once we internalize this, yes, I'm meant for serving Krishna. I have nothing else in my life. Then automatically Krishnarte akila cheshta. We do everything for Krishna. Everything I do should be for the satisfaction of Krishna. Once we have internalized this attitude, It's not very difficult to understand this. Then progress becomes natural. And then we can feel how Krishna is with us, guiding us, protecting us. Prabhupada is with us. Srila Prabhupada is with us. Our Guru is helping us. We're not disconnected from Krishna. There's Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga, there are various processes, but the first one is Savaimana Krishna Padara Vindayoho. You put our mind into it. A devotee who does this, he has it clearly in his heart that I have no other goal in my life to serve Krishna and the devotees. And for that, I have to follow the process given by Rupa Goswami and the Acharyas. And we have to do that very seriously because I'm in a very serious position. I'm in the material world. I'm in material consciousness. Now, by the mercy of Krishna and Guru and the Vaishnavas, I've got the idea, I've got the understanding that I'm not meant to be a rascal as I've been for so many lifetimes. I'm meant to serve Krishna, and now I have to take it very seriously. Otherwise, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble if I don't take it seriously. So I should take all opportunities to hear about Krishna, chant about Krishna, serve Krishna, associate with devotees, study Srila Prabhupada's books, avoid offenses, and to my capacity, try to cooperate with others to spread this Krishna conscious movement. It means coming to the Madhyam Adhika, to the platform of a middle level devotee, which is really the beginning of pure devotion. Madhyam Adhikari is on the right path. He's practically a pure devotee. He has to practice. Still more practice to do. But we should resolve not to be a neophyte forever. I shouldn't remain on the petty platform. Let's come up. Let's hear about the activities of the great devotees. And not just hear about it, but internalize their attitude. Aspire to follow them. I'm saying it becomes easy. Bhakti becomes easy. It becomes natural if we have this attitude that I only have to serve Krishna. But there will be ups and downs. It's not that, okay, done it, finished. Struggle will go on. We may have doubts. We won't always be in the best of consciousness. That's expected. We are sadhakas. We're on the path, going back to Godhead. There are many tests on the way. But when a devotee who's made this resolve that my life is meant for Krishna, when he sees himself slipping, and he checks himself, he pulls himself together by remembering, oh, my life is meant for Krishna. I have my life's goal. I have my compass. This is where I'm heading for. I have to be a pure devotee. I have to get myself back on track. So instead of inventing any compromised ways or new ways, just stick to the process, which is given to us by Rupa Goswami. We don't practice exactly in the same way that Rupa Goswami did. We practice as Srila Prabhupada instructed us. We're not chanting 64 rounds a day, we're chanting 16 rounds a day. We can chant more also. But if we have the faith that what is given by Srila Prabhupada as a follower of Rupa Goswami, what I'm getting from my Guru, who is a representative of Srila Prabhupada and all the previous acharyas, I just have to follow that. With mind, body, and words. then it becomes easy. We make progress naturally. We can understand the philosophy very easily. We don't get confused or misled by so many strange ideas floating around in the name of devotion. There's always some conspiracy theory floating around. There's always something to complain about. But we should understand that I'm here to serve Krishna. That's what I should do. And following the rules and regulations comes naturally because we know that this is what I have to do. And after some time, it doesn't become, it's not difficult. It's not difficult to get up early in the morning. It may be difficult to stay awake in the Bhagavatam class. You can stand up if you're falling asleep. That makes it easier. Don't worry, you're not the only one. Even I'm told Jayananda used to fall asleep, but that was because he would work so hard and hardly sleep at all. So if he sometimes he would fall asleep in class also, but usually he wouldn't be in the class because he'd be out taking out the garbage or doing something like that. The great Jayananda, one of Srila Prabhupada's dearest disciples. So following becomes natural, and another way of putting it is Guru Mukha Padmavakya Chitete Korea Aika Ana Korea Hamane Asha. Simply make the words of the Guru one with our heart, not desiring anything else, because we have the faith that what I'm taught is what Krishna is teaching. We say the Guru is as good as Krishna because the Guru teaches us what Krishna teaches us, which is coming in the Parampara line. He teaches us the path of pure devotional service given by Rupa Goswami and all the acharyas. And then we, Chitete Korea Aikya, we place it in our, make it one with our heart so we don't have anything else. Atmanivedana, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I have to do. And then naturally, in any circumstance, we think in terms of, does Krishna want me to do this? Anukulyasya sankalpa. Does my Guru want me to do this? Because in life there are many choices. All the time we can do what's favorable for devotional service, or we can't, or we don't have to. And many times the choice is there. Shall I do this or shall I do that? But always we think, no, I have to do this because my life is meant for Krishna. And then it becomes automatic, that you won't even think of it. You won't even think of doing anything which is outside of Krishna's service. And of course, again, everyone's at different levels. We come in at different levels. But even if we are at a lower level than others, which that's going to be, because there's always going to be someone more advanced than us. But we can make quick advancement, whatever level we're at. We'll get a taste for performing devotional service, and we won't be attracted to petty things. We won't be attracted, we may slip, we may struggle, but our aim becomes clear. We have a very high aim. We have a long way to go, but our aim becomes clear. And we know that we can get there. We have good help in getting there. And then when we take to Krishna consciousness with this faith is the beginning, then we take pleasure in what we're doing. Because after all, Krishna consciousness is a joyful process. Krishna and the cowherd boys, they're engaged in child labor, as it would be called nowadays. Young boys taking out the cows. But they're very happy doing that. The boys are very happy to be with Krishna. Krishna is very happy to be with the boys. And it's all centered around, what's the answer? In Vrindavan, everything is centered around the cows. Krishna himself is centered around the cows. They're cowherd people. It's a trick question. That's why he didn't want to answer. Everything's centered around Krishna, but Krishna himself centers his life around the cows. They're all cowherd people. They simple people. They're not complex Vedantists, no complex politics. They're just happy. They take the cows out. And then the cows come back and the women are in the home and they're making ghee and so many things. Actually, what we're talking about is supposed to be what happens at initiation. Because Dikha Kale Bhakta Kare Atta Shamarpan. At the time of initiation, or real initiation, means we offer ourselves fully to Krishna. So if we're not fully offering ourselves to Krishna, we're not initiated in the truest sense of the term. Of course, there are levels also. We may give ourselves to Krishna by at least following the process. So, minimally, Diksha, initiation, means to surrender ourselves to the process. We may go on for many years and maybe many lifetimes, serving at some level, going on with our hearing and chanting. But if we don't get this essence, which we hear about, that we're really just supposed to do everything for Krishna, if we don't really internalize that, we don't really get the point, then we get stuck. We might get stuck even being considered a great devotee. People say, oh, very senior devotee, because been chanting Hare Krishna for a long time. But we may be chanting Hare Krishna for a long time, but we're stuck. With our anarthas. We may not be sinful, we may not be crassly offensive, but at the same time, we're not going to make proper progress unless we have this attitude of really sincerely wanting to do so, which is why it's good to give very simple classes like this from time to time. We should discuss the philosophy of Krishna consciousness in great depth, no doubt. But at the same time, we have to realign ourselves, like driving on the road. You have to, if we don't keep the hand on the steering wheel and watch where we're going, then in the turns of the road, we may go off course, or if the wheels aren't properly aligned, we maybe think we're going straight, and we're just holding the steering wheel straight, but we're going off course anyway, because the wheels aren't properly aligned. So we have to be alert. It's Krishna consciousness. We often used to hear this. First of all, we have to be conscious. Then we can be Krishna consciousness. So we have to be conscious of where we're at, where we're going to, how we're progressing. Krishna is very merciful. He will help us, no doubt. But saying that Krishna is very merciful is not an excuse not to surrender to him, that he'll just do it all for me. Arjuna sitting on the chariot, okay, I understood you're God, so all right, you do it all yourself. You can just do it by your desire. You can finish off all the enemies. But Krishna didn't want that. He wanted to see Arjuna. He wanted to see Arjuna struggle. Arjuna is already accepted as a pure devotee, but Krishna wanted Arjuna to struggle for something that Krishna could have easily accomplished by himself. So we may invent excuses not to surrender to Krishna. And they may be very good sounding excuses, and we may go on with the process of Krishna consciousness. The only problem is that we don't make any advancement. Demons. What is the difference between the cowherd boys and the donkeys? Well, one are devotees and the others are not devotees. Demons are described as not knowing what to do and what not to do. The demons, they were living in the Talavan in the form of donkeys. They could have come and surrendered to Krishna. There's nothing stopping them from doing so, but they don't know what to do and what not to do. Therefore, they're demons. And neophyte devotees share in that attitude somewhat also. They're not clear about what they should do because they haven't clearly established in their minds their desire to surrender to Krishna. Those devotees, or something like devotees, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called them Vaishnava Prai, almost like devotees. They may actually oppose following the principles and say, well, you shouldn't be too strict with yourself. It's okay. You can eat some kami food. Take your family out to the kami restaurant. It's okay. Or they may say, you should. They may say, well, it's okay to have contraceptive sex with your wife. Or they may say, you should. They may be that they do know what to do, but they say what not to do. So in one sense, they're in a position worse than demons, because demons don't know what to do and what not to do. But if you do know what to do, and you still preach among those who are trying to be devotees what not to do, and tell them this is what you should do, what's that position? But those who have fixed up in their heart this principle, anyabhilashita shunyam, to be free of any other motivation, they won't be bewildered by this bogus kind of preaching, which is inevitable, it seems, after the appearance of a great acharya. Great acharyas are very powerful, and they pick people up and bring them to the level of pure devotion. When they're gone from our physical presence, then the personality of Kali comes running in the guise of devotees. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said this, not me. And mislead people in the name of the great Acharya. So those who have fixed it in their heart, I must do what Krishna wants, as the powerful Acharya, Srila Prabhupada said. They're not bewildered by bogus kinds of preaching, so-called preaching. Such devotees may struggle to follow properly, but they're not bewildered about what they should do. So again, we should make this resolve. What do I have to do with my life? Then we don't care if others say, it's okay, you can break the rule. The rules are only tools, they don't matter. Yeah, sure. So, yeah. tell that to someone who's building a bridge. The rules are, you're going to build a bridge across the Ganga. The rules are they're only tools. What are you going to do? Build it by hand? Tools have their necessity. So then you can understand, if people are preaching wrong things, that they're cheating. I know what I have to do with my life because I heard from my guru, who is properly representing the parampara, who follows what Rupa Goswami and others have said. That's why we find at the beginning of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is the guidebook for all devotees, first in the beginning it's established, Anya Bilashita Shunyam. This book is about pure devotion. And what is that pure devotion? To act favorably in Krishna's service, cultivating the attitude of having no other desire. So if we have this determination, this is what I've come for, after millions of lifetimes. How many lifetimes? Million is a small number. We can't count, it's impossible to count how many lifetimes we've been through. Now I have this opportunity. Then I have to do. Now I have to take it seriously. Then Krishna helps. Tesham satata yuktanang bhajatang priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. And Krishna helps by giving us the intelligence by which we can come to Him. We won't listen to those of bad intelligence who are in the name of teaching Krishna consciousness, leading us away from the path that comes to Krishna. Krishna gives us the intelligence what to do and what not to do, even among conflicting opinions, and everything becomes clear. So this is the way that bhakti becomes easy. Just take it as our life's goal. Very simple. This is all what I've said just now is all summed up in a letter that Srila Prabhupada wrote to a disciple in 1969. The disciple had written him various questions. Srila Prabhupada replied, "Your final question is how you can become a pure devotee. How can you become a pure devotee?" And the answer to this is given in Bhagavad-gita. Krishna instructs Arjuna that the Mahatma, the pure devotee, is he who has fully surrendered himself unto the spiritual nature. And how can we tell if one is completely surrendered unto the spiritual nature? He is always fully engaged in devotional service to Krishna. So this is the process of becoming a pure devotee. We have to engage all of our words, thoughts, and activities in Krishna consciousness under the direction of the spiritual master. Therefore, at every moment, you should be busy in some way in serving Krishna and his pure devotees, and automatically you will become purified in Krishna consciousness. Krishna is always willing to shower his mercy upon his devotees. So we have simply to become receptive to this mercy by devotional service, and then the path is very easy. That's it all, summed up in one paragraph from Srila Prabhupada. But still remember, Kshurasya dhara nishita duratyaya durgang patastat kavayo vadanti. We're also warned that this path is sharp like a razor, and it's a difficult path. So yes, it's easy. Yes, it's difficult. It's easy by the grace of Krishna, and it's difficult due to our own nonsense conditioning. Hare Krishna. I finished there? All glories to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo